Hello there! Today we are going to do another two-parter speed build. So I've been doing a lot more of these just because I don't know, my homes I guess are turning larger and larger. I don't really like it though because I don't really like splitting my build into numerous parts. I could cut away like a big chunk of it, but I like, you know, watching the progress of the whole build come together. But yeah, so this is unfortunately a two-parter, which means you're going to have to come back to my channel and watch the second part, which is the furnishing. And another thing that I don't really like about two-parters is that a lot of times I sometimes get bored of doing the build portion and then I'll move on to furnishing and then I'll go back to the build. And when I do these multiple parters, I like to split them into a build and a furnishing video. But I think even in this video, you'll see that some of them, in this you might see some of the furnishing, even though the furnishing is the second part. So it's a little bit tricky to sort of split it up, and editing is a little bit longer in the process, but yeah, this is how it's working out for now. But I think, so I've done another build, and I think that one I'm actually just going to do it as I like did it real time. So I'm probably just going to put like 20 minutes of me doing the build in the first video and then 20 minutes in the second video, even though there might be some furnishing in one part, there might be some building in the other part, and stuff like that. But let's talk about the build. So this is a build. It's kind of weird. It's very boxy, as you can see. And yeah, I don't use any of the regular sort of slanted roofs. It's super boxy, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And this lot is pretty large. I actually don't remember the lot. I would guess off the top of my head that this is a 30 by 40, but I could be wrong. Maybe it's a 40 by 50, I'm not really sure. But this is a really large home. And one of the reasons why it looks so large on the outside, I mean it's large in general, but it looks really large from the outside, is because there is a feature element in the middle of the build. So I kind of talked over it, but you could see that I put a pool in the middle of the build. So I saw a picture. Now this picture did not indicate at all what this build is supposed to look like or anything, so I mostly made the build up myself. But the picture looked like, well, it was a picture from the inside of the home, and you could see a pool, and then the house was basically right next to the pool. And it kind of seemed like it was inside the home, but I'm not quite sure. So I just kind of came up with something random myself, and I thought it would be cool to put a pool inside the house. But with that said, the pool is still actually outdoors. So think of it almost like I guess a really oddly shaped donut. So the pool is outdoors, and I'm doing the roof section here. This is what I'm calling the roof section, which is literally me just putting half walls on the top of the build. So the home isn't inside, but the pool is outside. So it's really awesome. You'll see in the screenshots that there are really cool shadow effects because of this top, I don't know, half wall section. But the shadows they're really cool. And yeah, so it's also super interesting too, because if you see the door, that I don't know how to describe the door. It's like horizontal wooden panels. It kind of looks like a Japanese style door. And yeah, so that door, it doesn't actually go directly into the home. So it goes into that pool section, and then from the pool section, you go into the home. And around the pool, there are individual doors around, so you can technically go into each one of the doors. So I don't know if there's necessarily like a front door, but one of them, I designed it to sort of be a front door, but technically you can enter through almost all the doors. And yeah, so I put a couple of, well, I colored some of the walls, but I think later on I just changed all the walls to one color because I didn't really like the two tones. And yeah, so I'm just putting some columns around just to sort of hold up the half wall roof section. And so there are a couple of patios that are accessible, but on the third floor, those ones in the end, I kind of just cover the entire roof section with just grass. So you can't actually get up there, but I think that maybe if you want to, I don't know, rearrange the house or something, you could put stairs and then make it a really nice patio. Because technically, there's not much outdoor space. There's the pool section, which is outdoors, and then there are a couple of like gardens here and there. And yeah, but there's not too much garden space. The house mostly takes up a large chunk of it. Just because there's like a pool inside the house, it all of a sudden becomes super large and takes up almost the entire lot. And you can kind of see in some of these angles, but I put like a half wall basically around the entire thing. So the entire home is kind of enclosed in this half wall, which is a little bit, I guess, there for privacy, but yeah, I don't know if maybe you can imagine it to be in a somewhat crowded area that has a lot of people around, even though the lot that I placed it in, there's like nothing nearby, so it kind of looks a little bit dungeon-like, a little bit like a prison, because I don't know, you're technically like fenced in on all sides, and yeah, so this is the inside. Well, the inside, by that I mean like the pool section, and I think the pool section is really quite cool. I don't know, it's really cool because this house is very outdoor as well as indoor feeling. So a lot of the bedrooms look into the pool section, which is really cool. You get a really awesome view, and I don't know, it looks really cool, and you have a feeling of being indoors because there's like walls all around you, but you're also outdoors because if you look up, you know, the roof section is kind of open. And yes, that is a lot of windows. I know there are a ton of windows, but there are a lot of rooms too. But yeah, I think I went a little bit overboard with the windows. I think I just really wanted that outdoor-indoor feeling. And yeah, it's a really weird home. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know what kind of style this home is, but it was just a sort of idea that I had in my mind, and I thought I could do something like that in The Sims. But that's what's amazing about The Sims. You don't have to build this in real life. You can just kind of concept ideas in game form and see how they turn out. And yeah, when I showed my dad, he was like, "That's too many windows. Your heating bill is gonna be like astronomical." And yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with that, but maybe you're in like a place like California or something where the temperature doesn't really fluctuate that much, so it's okay to have this many windows. But where I am, I don't know if I've ever mentioned it, but I'm from Chicago, Illinois. That's kind of like not really dead smack in the middle of the United States. It's more in the northern part of the United States, but we get all 4 seasons. It's summer now. It's actually really insanely warm for like springtime, so I don't know how hot it's gonna get in the summer. But then we had like, our winter was really long this year too. So I don't know, basically we get all 4 seasons, and this type of home I don't think would ever be seen in Illinois because, like my dad said, your electricity bill to sort of heat this home would be intense. And yeah, so let's go back to the build, why don't we? So this is more of the interior, and I added some roofs inside. I know I said at the beginning I didn't have any roofs, but technically I do. I just put the roofs on the inside. I don't know, this house is a really weird one, but I found it kind of fun to do. It was a little bit exhaustive when I was working on it for so long. I don't know how long this build actually took me, but it took me definitely a couple of hours. Yeah, and my computer started to get a little bit, a little bit slow because of how large this build was and how many items that I was putting in, and yeah. So as you can see, I added a nice, I guess, sort of wood flooring around the pool, and I love the colors, the difference in colors. I love browns, blues, greens in my homes. I think that they look so nice, and I don't know, just that blue with that brown, it has a really cool color palette. And yeah, so around the pool, those little things on either side, those are like little planters. And yes, you will realize, or you did realize, that the flowers, when I put them down, they immediately went blurry. Yeah, especially for this large of a home, I really needed to put my computer graphics on low, so it wouldn't, my computer just wouldn't die on me. And yeah, just changing up some of the colors. I always forget to do this, but I always forget to color like the flooring and then the walls, the pools, but this time I did. It's not really different to what it originally was, but it just added a little bit of more warmth or something in the build, and I liked it. And yeah, I don't know if we'll do the floor plan in this. I actually don't think so. I think the floor plan is in the furnishing section, but if you are wondering about the details, how many bedrooms are there? Hold on, I have to count. There are a lot of bedrooms. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, there's not that many. There's 5, which is a lot, and a lot of them have room for double beds. So technically, I think you can have like the full 8 sim live in here. I mean, if you can't, that'd be ridiculous. I mean, for such a large home, if you can't have 8 sims that live in this home, then you are doing something wrong. And yeah, so now we're going on to do the garden, and I really love this little garden. I just decided to use this, what is it, like a pebble garden flooring? Sure. And I really liked it. I've never used it before. I just put a really simple kind of sculptural fountain in the middle. And yeah, so I think there are about 3 gardens. There's one in the back and then 2 in the front. And in the front, they're really simple. Actually, the back one is really simple too. It almost is feeling a little bit Japanese, I want to say. So I have like bamboo plants, and then this is supposed to be kind of like the sand garden, the one where you can make the really cool patterns. My dad was watching a video about that for like 15 minutes of this little Japanese girl raking her little garden in nice little patterns. It was very serene. If you are looking to like meditate or something, watch that video. Maybe not meditate, but if you are looking to relax, they are really satisfying too when you watch the patterns being developed. It's really nice. And yeah, so this is a back garden, and this one, so the home takes up so much of the lot that I wasn't able to get the backyard garden as large as I wanted to, so it's kind of a smaller garden, but I just placed a couple of things around. And yeah, so this is, I think, the 3rd floor, and the 3rd floor is the one where there's basically nothing. So on top, I just added some of the bushes. So when you're at the pool section or you're looking up from like the inside of the house or something, it does feel a little bit outdoorsy. You have a little bit of green plants around, and yeah. So here I'm just adding a couple of half walls to align the house. I thought that there was a little bit too much green on the roof, so I'm adding a little bit of wood. But as I said at the beginning of the video, you can't really get up here, but I recommend putting a staircase in so you can get up to this level, because there are a ton of like spaces for outdoor areas. You can just put a sitting area out there, like a barbecue section out there, and it'd be really nice. And yeah, so for the rest of the garden, I am placing a lot of plants on it. So a thing about this home is that it's very closely tied to nature. So, with the indoor-outdoor pool section, I'm also putting a lot of plants around. So it has a feeling of being very environmentally friendly, I guess. You know, very sustainable. I mean, there's nothing, we don't really have any items that are necessarily for eco-friendly living, but it kind of feels that way. It's very earth tony colors, and now this is a very tedious process of coloring every single, in quotation marks, rooms that those half walls make. And yeah, so this is where I decided to make the entire home the same color, because initially it was a gray and a white, but with the windows, I thought that it'd be cool to contrast the light sort of windows with a darker color. So I changed the entire wall, or all the walls, to a darker gray. And again, just sort of doing some more of the plants around. And yeah, so these are screenshots. Here's it at night. I did forget to add outdoor lighting. I do that a lot. I always forget to add some lighting on the outdoors. So I gotta get better at that. But here is the indoors, or not really indoors. Oh, that was kind of weird. I jumped inside, then I jumped back outside. I think I wanted to show the transition between the times of day, because I did change the time of day. But this is the afternoon lighting, I guess, and then this is the inside. And yeah, so I think in a couple of the screenshots you'll see the lighting come through. I think the best lighting is in the evening too, so yeah. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.